before. And all of a sudden, you could say, given what black coaches get strapped with, they get the dregs. They always get the worst jobs. And then you're like, they failed. Well, and what did you expect?
You ain't coaching KD out the gate.
Okay. Well, who gets KD and Kyrie? Well, be careful what you wish for.
Correct.
Because he had no experience doing any of this. He had no game management experience whatsoever. And I watched night after night as the games just ran amok on him. He just seemed lost. He finally, the other night, threw a big fit, and it felt like acting to me. It felt like somebody told him, Steve, maybe Sean Marks or Joe Tsai said, Steve, at some point, you got to show a little emotion, like you got a pulse.
Right.
Okay, watch this. I got a pulse. I'm going to throw a fit. And they still lost the game, right? Because nobody bought it in the locker room, because they never bought into Steve Nash in the first place, because all he wanted to do was talk about these sort of ephemeral X's and O's. It works like this. And I read a quote from Seth Curry the other day. I probably won't be able to put my fingers on it. That he just talked about how, here it is, Seth Curry. Here's the essence of who they were under Steve Nash. Last year, this is looking back to last year when they got blown out and swept in the playoffs. Okay. We just kind of came in and played pickup basketball. This is Seth Curry, obviously Steph's brother. We skipped a lot of the steps as far as the basics of what you're doing defensively and offensively. We just really got out there and we were just relying on pure talent to try to win games. Well, that's true. That's it. But you're not just relying on pure talent. You're just relying on his talent and his talent.
Correct.
It's a two-man show on offense. Is it his turn or is it his turn?
Right.
And maybe every once in a while, Seth or Joe Harris or Patty Mills, they might get the odd three just on the clock winds down to nothing. And that's how they played basketball. So Steve Nash wasn't even a tactician enough. He couldn't even impose his will on the offense, let alone on the defense, because those Phoenix teams that Steve played for, they didn't play a lick of defense. No. It was a complete afterthought. Yep. There was no idea. How do you defend the pick and roll? They didn't work on it. They didn't scheme it.
They were tremendous in the pick and roll because he and Amari Stoudemire at the time were the best pick and roll guys.
They were. They were unstoppable.
But normally when you're good at something, Skip, you have a hard time defending it.
Okay.
I don't know why, but damn, you should already know all the answers.
So Steve Nash, he was exactly as a head coach who he was as a player. It was all offense and no defense.
Correct.
But Steve Nash as a player, he would just be the sun in their universe. He would have the ball dribbling it in a little semicircle, right in the middle of the floor, and everybody, the stars would revolve around him. Well, he was just playing on instinct too, because Phoenix was just playing pickup basketball, and all of a sudden he's just like, yeah, you guys just do it. You guys are really good. Just go do it. It won't work because some nights you'll both get hot, and if you both get hot, you'll have a chance to win the game, right?
Chance, yep.
Okay, but in the bigger picture, it's not going to happen enough because you stop nobody on the other end. And it's just hard in this league when you're playing against teams that really care about defense and rebounding and winning as a team and actually sharing the basketball. It's hard to beat them over 48 minutes. It's just they're too talented on their side. And they're doing it the right way and you're doing it exactly the wrong way, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if Steve Nash's Nets could have played you a game of horse, and that would be how you'd win or lose the game, they might have a pretty good shot, right? But they're not playing horse, okay? And if the Globetrotters that are Kevin and Kyrie, if they could play the Washington Generals every night, you could win a lot of games because you'd win every game, right? Because the Generals were just there to make it look good, right? Okay, but they're not playing the Washington Generals. They're actually playing NBA teams. And last night, they were actually playing the Chicago Bulls, who are now only 4-4. But it got so bad in the fourth quarter. I'm like, what are you doing? Zach LaVine, in the fourth quarter, they were just, who else?
He was shooting wide open threes.
And Dragic. They're just like, do you understand these guys can really shoot it?
NBA player gets hot, Skip. You better do something. You better deny him the ball, or you better run two at him. You better do something. But if you continue to do what you've done, Skip, Zach LaVine was just taking shoot-around threes.
Shoot-around threes. No hands in fact. I would say it's like 10 or 15 feet from the nearest defender, and he just standing out there saying, really?
But Skip, if you look at the starting lineup, Royce O'Neal is really the only guy that's known for defense on the perimeter. That's not what Kyrie's known for. That's not what Joe Harris. That's not Kyrie. That's not KD. No. So these guys caught fire, and then guess what? You get outscored in the second half, you got to score, 56-41. and you lose the ball game. Skip, in 2020, KD played 35 of 72 games. In 2021, he played 55 of 82 games. In 2020, Kyrie played 54 of 72 games. In 2021, he played 29 of 82 games.
You know why? Yeah. That was the vaccination problem.
And so, and Skip, but here's the thing. If these guys stepped out of line, what authority did Steve Nash have? Could he suspend a player? Could he fine a player? Could he bench a player? He had no authority. He's a figurehead, just like Mike McCarthy is at the Dallas Cowboys. That's what he was at the Brooklyn Nets. He had no authority. They robbed him of that. Sean Marks allowed Kyrie to do this and Kevin Durant to do this. They robbed him of his ability to coach.
Yep.
And then you say, well, he ain't coaching. How can he? You robbed him of that.
Unless he stepped up and said, I'm in the Basketball Hall of Fame. I don't care what you say. I'm going to run this show. And you're going to answer to me. If not through suspension, just face to face, you're going to answer to me. But he's not confrontational. He's way too nice of a guy.
But Skip, the thing is about that, he's in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Do you think Kyrie thinks that Steve Nash is a better player than he was?
No.
Thank you.
But I'm not sure he thinks anybody in the history of the game is a better player.
Clearly, Kevin Durant was a better player. How do you get through to a guy that they look at you as less than? You got the job because you his homeboy. Y'all played together. You ain't no. That's how they looked at this man. And look at what they gave up. They gave up 3 first-round picks, 4 pick swaps, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Taurean Prince, and Kuritz. Mm-hmm. You gave up all that. Why did you give up that? Because that's what KD wanted. He wanted James Harden. Kyrie wanted James Harden. Now Sean Marks says no player was consulted. You've been consulting with everything. Everything you did, you consulted KD and Kyrie. Okay. Now all of a sudden you make this move, you ain't consult nobody.
All right. So I hear all the above. You could argue that Kyrie is uncoachable, and by association, it makes KD uncoachable. Because remember, KD flat out wanted out from under Kyrie.
Thank you. Yeah.
So all of a sudden he's forced to stay. Now you have uneasy truce to start with, and it gets stickier and stickier until it explodes. And it's very possible that Joe Tsai promised Kevin Durant during the summer.
Well, hey, let's see how I start up. Don't start out with
I don't want to make it look like I gave in to you. I just crumbled at your feet. Let me just get the year started, and I'll take care of it soon into the year. And obviously,
you ain't fired this man, Skip, because after they got blown out that one game and they had the players only meeting, they won the next game. They won the next game. You fire him the day before he's supposed to play after you won a game. You had all them games. You won a game and then you lose. You didn't fire him. Lose, didn't fire him. You win, now we're going to get rid of it. Now it's time to mutually part ways.
Beat Indiana, who was playing back-to-back in your place, had to play 2 games at your place.
But that's my thing, Skip. My thing is, this just didn't come about.
Yeah.
This was already in the works. They were just saying, how can we finesse this to make it seem like we do? No, you was gonna fire this man all along.
Okay, I'm gonna make one final statement here, and we will delve and dive into this much deeper later. I believe that Ime Udoka is just what the doctor ordered for this team. Maybe Dr. Freud, maybe Dr. Phil, maybe Dr. Ruth. I don't know which doctor it is, but the doctor ordered Ime. He is the perfect fit for this team because I do think he will take control of the locker room, and I definitely think he will instill and install a defensive mindset that is not there whatsoever, obviously.
Yeah, but you can only make with what you have the ingredients with. You don't have the ingredients of a defensive team. You have the ingredients of an offensive team. Kevin Durant or Kyrie, your 2 best players, really don't play defense.
So you're telling me you can't make chicken salad out of chicken?
You cannot. And when is Kyrie bought into a system? Kyrie's always thought he was above the system.
Okay, we will see. But I thought the Celtics were the same way last year, and they got off to a rocky start, and then it took off.
Well, it's easy. It's easy to teach young men than to repair broken men. Older man. How old is KD? So now all of a sudden, KD, I need you to sit in the chair. At 7 foot tall, 33, 34 years of age, KD, I need you to sit in the chair. Kyrie, I need you to sit.
You still think it's a disaster? I don't.
Until 7 becomes a leader, until Kyrie Irving becomes not a problem, Kyrie, don't you be the problem. That's what Joe Tsai and Sean Marks should have went to him. Kyrie, don't be the problem. Kevin Durant, I need you to be a leader. Stop talking about all I want to do is hoop, 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 hoop. You are the leader.
I think both of those young men, still young men, are secretly yearning for somebody to say no to them. That's what I think. And here we go.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, Cleveland said no, and what did Kyrie do? Booked it. He booked it when they told him, no, we're not going to give you what we give Go James. He said, well, I'm gone. I want to run my own team, Boston. Either you trade me to Boston or I'm going to have knee surgery and miss the whole year. Got him to Boston. What happened, Skip?
Well, Kyrie did lead the Cavaliers to a championship. He led them.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, Skip. Ain't nobody. Everybody gave LeBron James, they moved him to Mount Rushmore because they see what Kyrie's been since he left LeBron. They like, go, how did you do this? How did you become Dr. Ruth, Dr. Phil?
You're talking about the phony guy.
That's why they moved him to the top.
Yeah.
He had to deal with that.
All right, we'll delve later into this.
We will. And Shannon, to your point about no players supposedly being consulted after the loss, by the way, last night to the Bulls, KD said he was shocked by this move. Jacques Vaughn is the interim head coach for the Nets right now.
You buying that, Skip Bayless? No.
We'll discuss in a few minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a ton to get to this morning. It is such a packed show, including, Skip, the Lakers. I need to know if you think they solved their problems by bringing Russ off the bench. And then your Cowboys. Why didn't they make a certain move before yesterday's trade deadline? That and a whole lot more coming up next.